Hello, 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 family. How is everybody doing out there? I know it's like once a month it seems like that I post things on here. I'm sorry, it is summer. I am busy. So today I figured that I would take and go through 10 things that are probably the most prominent in my life. I mean, let's face it, before we do anything, we have to think. And we become programmed to learning what to look for, what to do, how to walk, how to do this, how to do that. Like, for example, your friends ask you to go on a hike, and you're like, okay. But, you know, you learn to walk in the grass because maybe it's better balance for you. Maybe the sidewalk's better balance. Things like that. So, here are the 10 things that I found that are always on my mind. Hence the reason probably why I focus on health so much and why we do. Number one, and these aren't in any specific order, sleeping elevated is a must. I mean, it's just a must. You have to sleep pretty much elevated a little bit more so than the average person, unless you want to wake up feeling jelly brain in the morning. We all know that when we wake up and we feel jelly brain in the morning, it's not going to be a good morning or possibly a good day. So yes, definitely sleeping elevated. Number two, avoiding overexertion. We all know this. Granted, on days that we feel good, we go out and we do even more because it's like, oh, I'm feeling good. I can be normal. Yeah, well, you'll pay for it. Avoid overexertion. Like in the wintertime when I walk through the deep snow, I'm like, well, why do I feel like crap after walking, a mere 30 feet in deep snow? Well, blood gets pumping, pushes that stuff back out into your bloodstream. There you have it. So overexertion is not for us. It really isn't. Cardio, I think, when you get to certain stages with Lyme or Bartonella or any co-infection, is a must avoid. Number three, heat without a cooling towel. If it is summertime, like it is, of course, we're not really having much of a summer here in upstate New York, but heat obviously plays a huge role on how we feel within the first 5 minutes of getting overheated. I always keep a cooling towel on me, possibly a spray bottle. There are cooling vests that they actually sell that you can put on. I'm a little bit vain. I don't want to be seen in a vest in the summer. But, yeah. Keeping cool is a must that will bring out every symptom you could ever possibly have. And it starts within 5 minutes, not to mention the horrendous headache you get with it. Overcrowded, bright, noisy places. A real chronic bitch to all of us most of the time. Walmart is the first thing that comes to mind. Just too much stimuli, too much stimulation for the brain to accept, too much stuff around you, too much people passing by, bright things where you're not only having problems, comprehending and taking in all the visual stimuli, but now you've got bright lights added on top of it. Oh, and noisy. Oh, no. So I avoid those as much as possible. Turning head sideways and down. This is something that I still have to learn, even though I know it's not good. Looking down for extended periods makes you feel like crap. I don't know if you guys are like me and like say you're looking at your phone or you're looking down at a laptop for extended period, you start to feel like crap. Yeah. Looking to the left, looking to the right too much. Once again, the Walmart experience with the bright, crowded, noisy place. You're looking all around all the freaking time, and there's something going on with us as far as our necks and our heads go, because you ever notice we get the headaches down here at the base of the head a lot of times. Yeah, for some reason, we all tend to have neck problems too. I mean, there are probably a few of us that don't, which is usually rare because everybody I know does, but yeah. The turning head thing, I've learned to try to look more with my body rather than with my head, but I've still got to learn that, and so on. Eating at restaurants, once again, you're back to people around you, bright lights, noise, stimuli, and now you've got to deal with the food. So I always keep a trusty bottle of ibuprofen handy. If I know I'm going to something like Applebee's, pop the ibuprofen. That'll help as far as if you have any reactions to food. It's not going to help with the lights and the noise and everything else, though. Movement, boats, rides. Heck, we've got visual issues going on. Even looking at rides can make us dizzy without even being on them. Walking on docks, things like that. I try to avoid them like the plague because it's just too much. I have balance issues as it is, standing straight, and most of us do, without feeling all, loopy and not correct and off balance and things like that. I don't know, it's a bitch, guys. Loose clothing. That is always a must too. When I was younger, yeah, I wore the heels. Obviously with Bartonella, I'm sure the heck not going to be seen in high heels. For some reason, people still remember me as being young and wearing heels and everything else. And they're like, a lot of times we'll mention, oh, I expected to see you in heels, and here you are in flats. And I'm not 18. I'm not 21. Heels are, no. In comfortable clothing, something that's very loose around the waist. The heck with the tight pants, okay? Not that they look great anyways. But let's face it, we have swelling going on. We've got a lot of issues going on in the stomach throughout our whole body. Tight clothing is not a good thing. Tight bras with underwires often push on like the solar plexus area. Instant reason to not wear them is heart palpitations. You're pressing on the vagus nerve with those bad boys, and those underwires can be nasty. So loose, comfortable fitting clothing is always a plus. Okay, I'm making plans. I've learned that I'll say I'll try. There's no specific yes, there's no specific no. And if people question that, well, then I'll tell them why. Avoiding outings with someone. Let's see, avoid outings with someone. Okay, what I mean by that is, I wrote these down, is I've noticed in the last 9 years since I started having really bad herxes and stuff that I don't go to, we'll say a concert, okay, overly exciting places without somebody else. Just in case I do get some sort of flare-up, whatever, I just don't go to big outings and things like that without somebody. I don't typically go to small places without somebody anymore. So, as much as I like my alone time, which I have it all day, every day, I need to be around people in outing settings, or somebody that understands what I'm going through. They have to understand the issues and so on. Improper posture. Once again, back to the neck thing. Having problems looking down, looking too much to the right, looking too much to the left. Also works on the back, like I've mentioned in videos, sitting in the Jetta, for example, our car. It does something to my spine, and I think some of us do tend to have lesions in our spine, not in our brain. And I noticed that I have to have decent posture, or I feel like crap. Sleep. We all know sleep. None of us want to go to sleep until probably 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're groggy and want to sleep all day. It's just us. But there is something to be said about getting your 8 hours of sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and truthfully, oversleep doesn't seem to work well with me either, because I feel like crap if I get too much sleep, or crap if I get too little sleep. So that's another thing. Food reactions, delayed food reactions. I noticed, and a lot of people know, that pepperoni, ham, something like that. You may not notice the reactions right away, but you may feel it the next day. So be careful when you go out to restaurants and you eat at places like Applebee's or something that tastes really good, but they have a lot of preservatives and things. because you can get a delayed reaction, not feel it that day necessarily, but the next day or the day after. Yeah. Strong smells. Do not hook yourself up with a person that wears a lot of perfume or cologne or so on. It's just not a good thing. We already have heightened sound, hearing, smell, taste. When you're around a bright smell, sometimes it'll set me right into a panic attack even. And other people too. I've seen this where it's happened to other people. So it's probably not good to just coat that perfume or the cologne on and the powder and bright smelling soap on top of that, and then you've got all that going on at once. It's like, do not work at a jewelry counter. Or not a jewelry counter, but a cologne perfume counter. Yeah. And last but least, heights. I avoid things like the plague, like looking out windows, looking down a mountain, helicopters, planes, so on and so on. Yeah. Yep, I'd rather take that 6-day trip via car than take a plane and get there in, a day. And heights, obviously, I am dizzy when I am walking personally. On the ground, why would I want to put myself up in the air and provoke my balance issues even more? It's kind of like a danger to oneself. I wouldn't suggest myself going up more than 3 steps on a ladder. It is what it is, So that is the list that I threw together of things that I myself try to avoid. And if you have advanced Lyme or one of these infections or Bartonella and things, I think it's probably a good thing to look into that yourself. I mean, I know we're all different. We all have different symptoms and things. But you start to realize that you take all this list and it's somehow, over the years, embedded in your head. So, yeah. All right, I hope everybody is doing well this summer. Shout outs to our dear friend Keela out there who sent me a lovely package with chocolates and some cookies in it and, excuse me, a nice pot holder and a keychain. And they were absolutely adorable. I am so sorry, Keela, that I didn't get to send you a package out in return, because I have been so busy doing a gig for our local fireworks and things like that. I've just had some gigs back to back, even one this weekend. I will be in touch with you to find out how long you're actually going to be in New York. I'm so glad that you made it over to this country. And again, thank you so much for the package. As for everybody else, I hope you guys are doing well. I love you. Feel free to go down below, leave comments if any of this makes any sense to you. All right, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.